make sure it's on the wheel so it doesn't come off. And then I'm using less surface area. And even that little stuff, people always, if it's taller, you don't trap air. So I cone it up like 2 or 3 times. And then sometimes I'll go back down. If it still feels a little weird, I'll cone it up again.
Yeah.
Just do that. Because it really, you're centering the inside of the clay. Instead of just having the outside of it spinning being perfect, you could have that. But then the inside of it is so crazy. So this, I could really feel it. Now the clay feels more homogenized and denser. I did it 3 times. And then at the bottom, say the bottom's all crazy like how it is.
Yeah.
So how do you fix that? Everybody always wants to try and fix it by holding it steady, which may seem like that works. You may get that to work sometime, but flatten it one more time, and then come back up with it. It'll be halfway, not all the. And then go back, and it was a lot easier to just center all that in the bottom instead of just wrestling with it. So it's about, and the size clay, the way I had you guys last week do a smaller amount, so you can be focused with where your hands are in the clay. If you have too much clay, then there's a tendency just to grab all of it. You're not as focused. But even when I throw in larger amounts of clay, I still use the same thing. Okay? So when it's in this shape, now you're ready to sink the well. When you sink the well, do it wider so you can see it. And if it's too thin, so if it's too thin, you could add a piece of clay. So if I'm just making a cylinder, that's fine. But for a bowl, it's a little bit different setup. But let's say I went too thin, I just get a ball of clay and flatten it and stick it right here, and then just go like this and flatten it out, and I just add it to the bottom. If it's a little hole and you went down and your thing's this high, and you can't do that, and it's hard to get your whole hand in there and check it. Okay, so this way you could open it up more, and you have to open it up more anyways to expose the interior of the floor.
Right.
So now spread the floor, which is a step that I didn't do for years, and I think is a game changer. You have to get the floor and the inside wall defined, or else it's going to be very hard to raise the walls later. Okay. So now here's another part that is right. I'll bring it in like this. So now instead of like that, my hands are open. I'll bring it in and up. And even though there's that little tiny wobble right there, I could fix that later. Okay, so it's in this volcano shape. It's thinner, it's thicker right here in the middle. You can see this ridge right here, and I know it's thicker. I'll start there. I'll push in the middle and hold from the outside. Push and hold. And then go to the top. Push and hold. Already it looks straighter already. Kind of center the top or compress the top a little. Push and hold. Okay? And then now I'll go down to the bottom, and I'll go all the way down here, and I'll push that in and hold. Push and hold. Push and hold. And later, that's how you fix a cylinder. If it's getting all crazy, if you could just get in there and block it and hold it, then you could fix it. It got taller, the walls got thinner, and so now it's ready to be pulled. Because it's too hard to pull, in that earlier stage when it's like this thick. Then you only really can get the top. Once you get grip going, then you pull the top up, but then it's really thick down here. That's why majority of the pots are really thick at the base. Okay? So I don't know if you can see the inside. See the defined wall and floor? That's what needs to happen. And then I'll push out a tiny bit from the inside. You can see that in there? See that little ridge in there?
At the bottom?
Yeah. So my inside hand is here. My outside hand's right here. I'm gonna this bulge that I've created, this ridge, I'm gonna push that in and push that up the side. And my inside hand is just staying in front of it until I get to the top edge. Hold it here for a few seconds. Actually, more than a few seconds, and then see how it kind of settled in, and then I take my hands away. Everybody does it. Is from here to here. Everybody always does this. And if you do that a bunch of times, look what's already happening with it.
Mm-hmm.
If people do that, like on the edge, they'll go, right? And you keep going, and then you go like this to try and fix it. And if it's crazy on the inside and outside, that's not going to fix it. The only way to really fix it is to stabilize it. Get back in here, one side on the inside, one hand on the outside, and block the wall in certain areas like that, and reset it. And even at the bottom, sometimes that's really where it started, and I kind of reset that. Okay, so like straighten it again. If you try to make another pull, and it's wobbly, you're just gonna elongate the wobbliness. I want the top to be a little bit narrower all the time. And like one more pull. Push out here. Get underneath it, push that in. So that wide base, when I spread the floor, when I made it really wide, now it's all going back in. It's 2 pulls.
2 pulls.
Okay, we'll get one more. Fine. Talking into it. So even though it's thinner, I fit my whole hand in there. Now you really see the bulge. Push out a little bit. I don't have to push in as much because it's already really narrow. I just must switch to this. I'm gonna push from the outside and make that ridge. Now there's a little flaring at the top, but if I want to make that narrower, then I get right here, and then I could do that because the inside and outside are even. I can collar it. Okay. And this is fairly straight up here. You know, so for a cup, I'm happy with that. A little tumbler. And if anything to finish it, I would. This isn't straightening it. This is just going to get the lines off and smooth the wetter stuff off the side. Okay. Should have did that earlier.
Yeah, as soon as that woman pulled into the wrong lane, you know, she pulled into a lane that was, you know, onto the traffic. There's a cop that walked right up there.
Okay. And actually, that's gonna be okay because I am gonna make this. This is a tumbler, no handle.
There's that crosswalk that's on Civic there.
So I'm thinking about like.
Between the light and Play Studio. And there's no, it's just these lines and stuff. We have a piano.
People in their cars.
People behaving badly. So to finish it, get off the wheel. I just want to keep this clean down here and have, so you can utilize all that clay. And since it's fairly even and there's not a lot of thickness here, what I'll do is I'll make like a little So we got a nice place for the glaze to stop. We can clean
nice.
it off nicely. If it runs down here, that's gonna hold it up a little bit. He does a little differently though. And even this rim is a little thin, but still that's okay. I think for drinking, it's actually really it's a nice. So what I'll do is just this little angle inward like that gives a little bit of strength and also makes the liquid flow out of it. Okay. Cup. So I think you make cups where you don't have to put handles on them. You're not thinking about handles. Think about like you're gonna grab it. You know the use for it. Doesn't have to be this tall. I mean, you could make little. What if you're making little cups? That's fine. But I think if you think about what the cup's gonna be for, then the shape and you know is it will be determined. Right.
Yeah.
Any questions about the